Hi, this is Tashina.
And this is Jonathan.
And this is a Fan and Chip podcast where we take you through Deep Space Nine.
And today we're talking about Season 2, Episode 14, Whispers. So fresh off the heels of Armageddon game, O'Brien has been exposed to a biogenic weapon, nearly dies. He now has to go through this shit.
The fact that this is back to back is just hilarious because there's a part where in the beginning, because a lot of this is flashback. So he's like, I first started the day after my trip. And I'm like, wait, what? The day after? It made it sound like they were all like
in a modern show, you would definitely take that as, yeah, this is the next day.
Yes.
This poor guy.
He probably should have put one episode in between.
Probably, yeah.
All right. So, yes, in our cold opening, we have Miles alone on a runabout. He opens a file to describe the last 52 hours because he doesn't know what will happen to him, if he'll even be available to give this testimony. And they're coming for me. So definitely a lot of questions, a lot of paranoia going on. But
you know why it's 52 hours?
Uh-huh.
Do you know why it's 52 hours?
Because isn't that 2-day cycles for them?
Yep.
Yeah.
You got it. Moving on.
Yeah. I'm not that dumb.
It's on the other podcasts I listen to are.
Oh, really? Did they not get... Because it's 26 hours.
Well, that's the thing. Is it 26 is such a random number. Why 26? Anyway, moving on. I don't know if they ever figured it out.
Oh, okay. It's so funny because through this, Miles is still Miles. He's getting his coffee. He just seems so calm, saying like, I don't know if I'll be around, so let me tell my diary what's going on.
They have to give him... Is this the first time we see his coffee order? Or have we heard that before?
I don't know, especially with all the talking about his coffee last episode. I don't know if we ever saw him do the... Was it
Jamaican blend, double strong, double sweet.
Double strong, double sweet. Yeah. So we start our flashback. 52 hours ago. He's waking up the day after his trip, which is not the last episode. It's a different trip that we will find out about in the episode. So he just got back from the station. He wakes up and Keiko's not in bed. Where is she?
Bed was too uncomfortable. No one can sleep in these things.
So he goes out to find Keiko and Molly are up at 5:30 in the morning, already having breakfast. And you're already getting the sense that Keiko's a little off. And then he goes, to give Molly a kiss on the cheek,
You noticed that when he ordered his coffee, she was like looking, like noticing that, because he orders his usual coffee order.
Yeah.
So she's like clocking that, okay, he knows what he usually gets. Like everyone's trying to figure out if he knows who he is.
Yes.
And has the right memories and is anything off. So like, okay, he's getting the right. Okay. So great subtle acting on her part.
Molly wants no kisses from Daddy. Not having it. Like, get away from me.
So first thing, halting here. So that means they have told Molly what's going on, right?
Yes.
I think that's what's implied.
Yes, what's going on, which, maybe shouldn't have. She's,
I guess
3 or 4.
It could be that they're trying to say, like, Molly has an intuition, like, whoa, like, she knows, without being told, like, this is wrong. You're not, like, when you shave and your kid's like, it's not Daddy.
But
is that what's being implied?
I don't know, just, it is Miles, though, so
It seemed to me like they told her, because if it was more of the children's intuition reaction, it would have been like he enters the room and she would have been like, they would have played it like that. This was like, felt like she already knew him coming in, not even look like she knew, which means they told her, which seems like a big risk. I feel like she's a kid. You do not need to tell her.
There's some issues I have with the handling.
Oh yeah,
DS9.
I feel like they could all be written up because there was so much incompetence, so many obvious avenues they left open.
So when did they tell him? He just got back. Did they wake him up in the middle of the night and go, hey, come on down, Keiko and Molly. Let's tell you what's up.
First morning after I got back. And I assume they told her... I assume they told them all before he got back. I think they all knew
Oh,
before.
maybe they knew before. Okay.
Yeah. Because that's the thing is, so skipping ahead,
They
just because
they
this
tell
provides
they
context.
tell the 3-year-old, but not Jake.
Right? I guess they thought, well, she's right there. She has to know. I feel
But
like
they
that
just
she could have just
like,
blurted.
I know they
You're
just,
not the real Miles O'Brien.
so they
I don't
just,
take orders from clones. Huh?
yeah, sorry.
Damn it,
Spoilers.
telling this toddler the
Miles
secret
is a
plan has ruined everything.
sorry, spoiler. Miles is a clone. But yeah, they could have just like the excuses that she made of why Molly was there. They could have just started that from the beginning and been like, "Oh, Molly, you're gonna go over this place and sleep at theirs for tonight." Instead of telling her the truth. Like it just seems weird telling a 3-year-old what's going on.
Right.
So
Exactly. So yeah, wanted to do one. So one of the many things we'll stop and point out, like, huh?
So the trip, we started finding out a little bit information about the trip. I guess because Odo was busy, Miles went to tuck security for a peace talks they're going to do with this group that's been in the Civil War. Was it
Paradas.
Paradas? So
Like piranhas and Prada together. Paradas.
cool. Paradas. They're having a civil war. They want to have peace talks. I'm guessing they are mainly talking to there's a group 1 and then there's rebels. So it seems like
the government and the rebels.
The government and the rebels. Anyway, he is in charge of the security and getting all set.
Specifically, we seem to be more aligned with the government. Like these directions they're getting, these security measures for the conference, these are all at the behest of the government.
Okay.
So the government seems to have requested the Federation's help in mediating with the rebels.
Yes.
It's not like they're coming in and dealing with the rebels or both. It is the government has requested this.
Gotcha.
We want you guys to arrange these peace talks between us and the rebels.
And that's why security is paramount because, there's tension there with the rebels coming in.
Yeah.
So, Keiko can't wait to leave and take Molly with her.
Which is also why she said that she went to bed really late. She didn't want to sleep with Clone Miles. So they must have told her before.
Yes.
The day before.
Yeah, that's right. Because he's like, why didn't you come in bed? She's like, I got work. He's like, why are you leaving? I got work. He's like, damn, those kids keep you busy.
I'm going to drop Molly off daycare. No, I'm taking her to work. What the?
He goes, at 5:30 in the morning?
Ultimately, though, he just takes it all in stride. I feel like there's some stereotype here of the overachieving Asian parents. He's just like, well, I guess she wants to take her to school at 5:30.
He does, but he does clock that something's a bit off. Like, those little red flags in your mind.
Yeah.
Because, yes, Miles it's got that folksiness about him, but he's not dumb. Even Cole Miles, not dumb.
Go to the security office.
Oh, yeah, so who's this guy? DeCurtis. Okay, so
Starfleet engineer number 3.
Cool. So Miles arrives. DeCurtis is already there, starting on this security project without him. And Miles is like, whoa, my project? What are you doing?
And not only that, he's messing with Odo's stuff. And O'Brien's like, don't you think Odo should know about this? Because Odo's away, which this is what gives O'Brien this like latch onto Odo. Like Odo must be, they appear like they're trying to, from his perspective, get around Odo as well, which is why he sort of latches onto Odo as like his one chance.
Yes. They haven't gotten to him yet.
I feel like Odo would have appreciated O'Brien coming to bat for him. Because I do feel like Odo would not like them messing with his stuff while he's gone.
No, not at all. He's like, Odo's gonna yell at me, please stop. He'll scare me in the middle of the night. He'll become a bed. Don't do that to me.
It'll be more comfortable than the Cardassian beds.
True. Probably would.
Oh, I'm having trouble sleeping. Can I sleep on you tonight?
Can you become a down comforter? You're so plushy.
Like waterbed.
So Curtis says, well, Cisco told me to start. And Miles like, what? Well, I'm gonna go talk to Cisco. He runs in the promenade and he sees Cisco talking to Keiko. And it seems a bit heated. Like, Keiko seems really upset.
Why did you tell Molly? We just have to let the kids know. Did you tell Jake? That's my business.
And
the thoughts are racing through Miles' mind.
Yeah.
Is she having an affair?
That's
Cisco's killing my woman?
Honestly, that would have been my first thought too. Like,
I always knew this would happen one day.
Damn.
He's going for her. Guess that could be enough.
Sooner than I thought. So we get the opening credits as Miles is pondering what the hell is happening. Because knowing what they know, they're not good at this. They're not good at pretending something's wrong. I think they put, which is great because some as actors are acting badly.
Right.
It is interesting. But maybe the crew put a little bit too much emphasis on their abilities to not alarm Miles.
Maybe they had a low impression of Miles too. He's a country bumpkin. He won't see what's going on. Miles is sitting there like, I'm not stupid. You guys are so obvious.
Yes. Honestly, I feel like the person who did the best was Bashir.
See, really? I thought he overplayed his hand.
He did overplay, but not in like Keiko is just like,
right.
Like,
I mean, it would be harder for her because it's her husband. And father of her child who's been allegedly replaced. So that's the other thing to remember. They don't know for sure.
Sure. Yeah, that's the thing. They don't know if he is a clone or not. It brings up the question, should they just put him in a holding cell?
That's
from the
what
very
I was going to say.
And
be
say,
like, hey, we have a situation.
I'm so sorry. We don't know. We need to keep you until we know because you are a major security risk. If he is.
Would O'Brien have taken this well? No.
No.
Which is understandable, but he's in a holding cell, so what can he do?
Yeah. Because honestly, it's not this clone's fault. And seeing him distressed like this whole episode, I'm just like, man, this sucked for him. Like his little window of life right here.
Like, best case,
really
he's
bad,
not
right?
a clone. Their intelligence was wrong, and they've now made him distrust his entire reality for nothing.
Yes.
Whereas if they'd just been like, hey, this is just a protocol, we're going to hold you here, he probably would have been upset about it, but at least like everyone's upfront with him. No one's lying to him. If it ends up being wrong, he's grumpy, but it's not like...
Exactly, but he doesn't distrust. Like, good thing this was the clone because holy crap, his whole reality would have been...
Because theoretically, right, if he wasn't a clone, since this is just Miles... nothing would be different, right?
Yeah.
The episode would have played out exactly the same.
Exactly.
Because it's Miles.
Until the very end when I think they find out for sure he's a clone, but pretty much everything leading up to I think his interaction with Odo.
Would have done.
Exactly.
So.
And they keep going, just turn back. They'll explain everything. I'm like, bitch, how about you say something right here?
Exactly.
Oh, I hate that. I hate that in shows. The whole like,
we'll explain everything.
Explain everything.
Just explain it.
Just like, we think you're a clown. Please turn around. We need to know for sure. And yeah, he might have been like, oh, that's hogwash. But at least he would have known what was going on.
You just got to plant the idea in his head so that maybe he can start seeing the signs himself or something.
Yeah. I just, overall, from Miles' perspective, I like Miles' story, but the way Night Crow handled it, I have notes. I have notes. Especially, do they listen to his files after the end of the episode? I would be heartbroken.
Yeah, I don't know. Are they protected now because they weren't made by the real Miles? They've already looked at his other ones, apparently.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. The real Miles comes back and, oh, yeah, sorry, we read all your personal logs. Hey!
All right. So after opening credits, we come back to the runabout with Miles looking for, I guess, pretty much just see if he's being followed. You know, the warp
Mm-hmm.
signal, all that. He's like, oh, looks like he is. All right. Then he goes on with his story. So we're in ops, and the doc wants. Oh,
Remember, we
my.
get that the birthday. He was like, I just liked his opening
Oh,
OC where he's
well,
like,
is
everyone's
this a
acting.
surprise party?
Yeah.
But it's not my
I
birthday.
hate surprise parties. It's also not my birthday yet. I think he secretly likes surprise, and so he's hoping here. Well,
He's hoping
if
this
it's
is
an
it.
early birthday.
Maybe I know, wishful thinking. After the conversation he witnessed with Keiko and Cisco, I don't
They were,
think that's a birthday celebration.
they were arguing about how best to pull off the surprise party.
So the Bashir wants Miles to do a physical, apparently. Everybody's done one, he's due for one, and he like for reals bad needs to do this physical. Like right now. Right now. Miles, you need to do this physical right now. And he's like, but I got stuff to do. Like we have these pace talks and security. And
then Bashir's like, I insist. As your superior officer, I will order you. I'm just like, whoa. I feel like this is gonna raise some red flags.
He probably shouldn't have said that. It was better when Cisco came in and goes.
That's the thing. He should have deferred to Cisco before like pulling rank.
Yes,
because Bashir only does that in dire situations.
Yeah. So Cisco comes in. He goes, "You have to make time today. He has a report that is due, and we are waiting on you, buddy." Which it is interesting because that circumstance seems it's real. Like that's definitely something
Starfleet
Miles would do. They have their reports, their deadlines, but it's always the little hand tipping from everybody.
But you're right. At least Bashir, when he comes up to him, is acting friendly.
Yeah, he's not like,
not
you're a clone.
Don't touch me.
And kind of like
pasta.
Teasing him, like he's trying his best to be like, hey, this might be the real Miles. Maybe I shouldn't be completely weird. Cisco calls Miles into his office. Here's where we get more information about his trip with the 12-year civil war between the Piratas, the security detail that it's okay, I did like this cracked me up. Cisco's like, okay, now tell me something that's not in the reports. And Miles goes, well, they have a distinct smell, and when their mood changes, their odor changes, and it really becomes like, I guess, predominant, like heavy when they get upset. Cisco's like, okay, well, I will try my best to not make the Piratas upset. And I'm kind of sad they didn't bring that in some way back
somehow.
at the end.
I think this was literally just another little thing where like Cisco's trying to like poke a little deeper and see if he'll like say something.
Yeah, that will tip his hand that he's a clone or not a clone. Yeah.
Or like see what his agenda is. Like maybe he's trying to plant certain information. So he's just sort of, trying to see what he says.
Yeah. I know. It's just his fun.
But yeah.
It was great. Well, sadly, Cisco had the other dude start up the security because sadly those upper pylons, man, something wrong, something going on. And Miles like, what are you talking about? I have redone that whole system. Like he has done everything to fix those upper pylons. They should be brand spanking new, like running on pure efficiency. What do you mean they're broken again? And Cisco's like, I'm sorry. That's what it is. You got to go fix them because it's urgent. We need, I actually don't know what the upper pylons do, but I know they're important.
So it's literally the station, all the little spindly things on the top and bottom, those are the pylons.
Okay.
Each of those is a pylon, and a ship docks there. When a pylon
that's
that's where they attach.
Ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they have upper and lower ones, and so when they are down, that means that nothing can dock there because some mechanism is broken.
It just seems like the upper pylons are like always broken.
Pylons. They never mentioned the lower pylons. I don't think it's always the upper pylons. But they keep trying to misdirect him away from the security arrangements he's supposed to be doing. Cisco handles this all pretty well, like because O'Brien comes in to complain about DeCurtis, And Cisco doesn't try and defend. He's just like, "Oh yeah, I'm sorry, that was my bad. My bad, bro. Um, you have every right to be upset. I shouldn't have assigned him." And then immediately deflects to like the report. So Cisco does a pretty good job, like placating him and misdirecting him away to other things.
Yes, I would say Cisco,
At least in this conversation.
did well. It's with the Jake stuff. He really bumbles it because Miles asks Cisco, "Hey, I saw you and Keiko chatting it up in the promenade. Everything okay?" Cisco's like, my dumb boy Jake. His grades are low."
What an idiot.
Kinda
Stupid Jake.
And Miles like, oh, okay, yeah, no, Keiko, she'll try her best to make sure he's on track. Sounds like a
Yeah,
legit
this feels
concern, but okay.
ish, but I feel like this is such a bad line to say. Not only because it's easily verified,
but Jake is also really smart.
He's lucky
If it was
O'Brien
Nog.
didn't immediately clock it as like, wait a minute, I know Jake. He doesn't have issues in grades. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like they are close enough that he would have known. He probably should have known already that was bogus. So come up with a better excuse, Cisco.
If it was Nog, he'd been like, "Oh yeah, that checks out."
I don't know what else I would have said, but
So in the infirmary, Miles is finally getting
Cisco
that
should have
physical.
just been like, "Yeah, she was just complaining about you and how annoying you are."
Oh, okay, that checks out.
She just said she was complaining about the beds. That's why she didn't sleep. It would have it would have connected to everything.
Blame.
And
Always
O'Brien
blame
would
the
have
beds.
understood. Yeah, those
Just
beds are pretty
always
bad.
blame the beds. That should have been their cover story.
I saw that stupid wedge pillow he was trying to sleep on. There's no way that's good for your neck. All right, moving on.
So in the infirmary, Miles is finally taking that physical, and he's getting really testy because Bashir has a checklist like a mile long and is pretty much going through everything. He even goes through his what about your parents? And again, you could tell this is
Testing his
another
knowledge,
test.
yeah.
He's like,
my mother died or father died or
yeah. Oh yeah,
mother died.
his mother died because his father remarried someone that he hasn't even met. Like they just got
A year later.
They just got married this spring. He's like, "I haven't met her. You know this." And I'm like, damn, I need to know more about Miles' backstory.
What's interesting is from Miles' perspective, this could look like Bashir was replaced.
Exactly.
Why didn't he know? So it's interesting that a lot of these things could be interpreted two ways.
Exactly. Which I think when you go into the story not knowing what's going on, you were with Miles. You're like, yeah, these people are acting fucking weird.
Yep.
And then, so, Bashir's going through like everything. He's like, "Oh, why are you going?" Miles is just getting angry. And he's like, "What's going on?" He's like, "Something's wrong. Something's wrong with me. That's why Keiko is like," he's like,
I'm dying.
I'm dying. Like he thinks he's dying. And then Bashir's like, "Oh, no, you're fine. You can leave." Because he sees Miles is like spiraling now.
Maybe that's what they should have said. Yeah, you are dying. You contracted something. So we got to put you in isolation. God.
Oh.
I've already thought of something better. Bashir could have thought of that. Come on, guys. Get it together.
They must have had this meeting like in the middle of the night. What they were going to do. Well, strange, but he is dismissed. So he goes in the promenade where he runs into Jake. And Jake asks for help. He also, it's a cute interaction. He like replicated this like old piece of equipment. And because Miles like, "Whoa, I haven't seen one of those in ages." And he's like, "Oh yeah, I had this old thing replicated." And Miles like, hey now, not too old." And, Miles mentions like, "Oh, no problem helping you. I know you're having issues with grades." Jake's like, Stop. What are you talking about? I'm a straight A student. I'm on the honor roll. There ain't no grades going down here.
Dun, dun, dun.
So, not good. Not good. So, in the hallway, Miles tries to look at those security measures, and he's not allowed. And, to Curtis is there, and he's like, "Oh, I have it." And, "Oh, I just closed up the seal, and you need, like,
a code
to get
Only
in."
Kira has them.
And so he calls Kira, and Kira's like, "What?" Miles is like, "Can I have the code?" And before Kira can even answer, Cisco comes in and goes,
"What are you doing there, O'Brien?" Jesus, calm down, everybody.
What are you doing? You're supposed to be fixing those upper pylons. No. Damn.
Like, fine. Oh, geez, we're gonna.
And so he's like, all right. So he goes, sneaks around the corner. We got a lot of sneaky Miles this episode. I love it. And he looks around and he sees that DeCurtis goes boop, 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 and enters right. No code needed.
Come on, DeCurtis. That's another thing. Wait a minute longer. You have to go in right now.
Go down the hallway. Act like you're gonna go do something else. Get a coffee. Come back. Man, I mean, it's Starfleet. It's the Federation, so I get their goody goody two shoes. But I'm like, kind of get a little bit of like sneakiness about you. They just don't got it in them.
Jake and O'Brien again.
Yes, Jake and O'Brien again in the promenade. Oh, I said Jake shows the old.
This is when he fixed the old
model.
Yeah.
Sorry, these scenes were like back to back and very similar. This is where he shows them the old model he replicated.
And it's clear from Jake here that Jake has no suspicion.
Clue.
So clearly they have not told Jake. So O'Brien senses that. He seems like he can trust Jake. He asks him over to his place later to do their project.
Yeah, do the work.
And he's like, hey, Jake, see anything unusual around here while I was gone? And then Kira, what are you doing? Jake, your father needs you. Get out of here. Suspicious. So Kira diverts Jake right when he's about to say probably nothing.
Oh, no. They were out of slushies at the Repelman.
Out of Jumjo sticks.
So we go back to those upper pylons, and Miles does find something wrong, like a little crack, like deep in the system. Like someone went in to try to make this not an easy fix.
Seems like sabotage. Something that would intentionally keep him busy.
Yes. So not helping. Not helping. He goes to his quarters. Keiko's there. And she mentions that Jake can't make it now.
Dun dun dun.
And Molly is away spending the night, I guess, at some neighbor's house. I don't know. And then I was like, oh, we're alone?
I get that.
Let's get it on. So he slides up to Keiko, and she's just like,
nope.
No, like hand to face, like, but he does kisses her, and her face. Yeah. There had been like, something's wrong. Sit down.
Oh, yeah.
Something is wrong. Like, what is happening? And she's like, just I had a tough day, grading on
that wasn't the face of a tough day.
No, that's not a tired face. That's an ick. I got the ick face.
The ick was for the fricandeau stew, whatever that is. Did not look that appetizing. She
made Miles's favorite stew, and Miles like, but you don't like the stew at all. Why would you make it? She's like, I can't remember what excuse she gave, but she's like, I decided to make your favorite stew, and had a couple, like a salad and all that. So they go sit down. He's about to eat, and he goes, aren't you going to eat? She's like, I'll just eat the salad. And so he gets a bite. He's about to eat it, and then
she's just like
glare, like they're like close up on the eyes. Like it is actually a pretty tense moment. I have to give
they did a good job.
Filmmaking here was really good. Of like, what's in the stew?
You're right.
And Miles puts down the bite. He's like, you know what? I'm not very hungry. She's like, you're not gonna eat your stew? Why aren't you gonna eat your stew? He's like, I just not hungry. I'm gonna go to bed. Retire early. And then he says, this is not my Keiko.
Dun dun dun. And it is true, like from our perspective, she is acting really suspicious.
Yes.
In a very unsettling way. So potentially it's hard to say what your first reactions are to this episode when you haven't seen it before because you've seen it so many times. But like you could see siding with O'Brien here and being like, yeah, I think everyone has been taken over by some alien influence.
Yeah, I think when I first saw this, I do remember they did a really good job of you being on Miles' side of like, what the hell's happening? Something is wrong.
They've had episodes like that before where there's a conspiracy and it usually focuses on one main person who has to figure it out. And
exactly. So they did a good job of getting you into his mindset. And I can't remember what I thought was going on, but I was like, yeah, something wrong is going down. And I agreed with what he was doing because I'm just like, if because I thought, oh, if it's something with him, they would have done a better job of either containing it or explaining it. But I guess not.
Guess not.
So, in the runabout present, he says that he'll never know if there was something actually in that stew or not because he went back later and she had already disposed of it.
Dun, dun, dun.
So now in his quarters, we see him researching possible answers. He knows something's going on. Is there gas in the air that's not affecting him? Are they infected by something? So he's trying to like rule out all these different possibilities of what could be affecting people on the station. Then he goes through, while he was gone, he goes through like I think all the main officers, all of their logs. This was a great montage of him just like sitting there slowly sleeping as we're getting like little bits of logs and the one with Kira going, he's so stupid. I hate it. Like, just it was great. Oh, we get a little bit of a Dax here, so she is around.
Yeah, did she say anything in person?
No, it was only on the logs we heard her.
I wonder if that's enough to get her residuals.
Ooh, that'd be nice. So he's about to fall asleep when we get to the point where the computer's like, you don't have access to the rest of the logs. And he's like, to what? And he goes through the system. So he finds out that pretty much he has access to everything up until right when he gets back.
Dun, dun, dun.
Which, yeah.
And it says they're restricted to level 1, but he has level 1, and so he enters it, but it's still denied.
So he heads to Ops, and we get sneaky Miles. He's like, they have a lot of traps in place, so I won't get it. I know how to get around those traps.
Yeah, he starts messing with a console somewhere. He plays it off like he's just trying to get those upper pylons working, but he's like hacking the system, basically. However that works.
So he hacks the system, which the crew suspects this will happen because even their logs they're still a bit coded. They don't explain what's happening. It's just he knows that they're keeping tabs on him. They're going through his logs. And he's like, oh, hopefully you enjoy my spicy
sexy letters
letters to my wife. And there is communication with Paradas, and something's going on.
Yeah, they said that Cisco mentioned that there were secret messages from the Parada system coming to the station.
Okay, so something is now going on with the Paradas. He's also not imagining it. Like, this is probably where the very first confirmation of like, no, something is happening around me. They're keeping tabs on me. They're having secret communications with the group that I was just in contact. I have no access to stuff from the day I got here. Like, this is definitely the, what you call it? Like, there's another word for it, but you're right. Confirmation of like, this is not just like all paranoia. So Miles goes to, it's a docking base they're called, where the runabouts go. Or is that something else?
Airlock? The airlock.
He goes to meet Odo, who finally comes back to a shit show.
And he intercepts him right when he gets off the runabout, so hopefully they wouldn't have told him already. Which, it seems like they haven't, because he seems to be on...
Yeah, he's on his side. Miles brings him up to speed, and Odo's like, no, there's definitely something going on here.
Which, again, they could have sent a message to Odo.
To him saying, hey, here's an outline of what's going on before you get here. So Odo's like, yes, something's going down. I'm going to go investigate. I will get back to you. This is the first time Miles is feeling some relief. He has an ally, someone who believes him.
And you feel it as the audience too, like, yes, it's Odo to save the day, like a friend,
Yeah.
someone you can trust. And he's a shapeshifter, so maybe he can't be taken over by the same. It's like getting
Ye
Data on your side in TNG. It's like, yes, that's what we
exactly.
need. We need Data.
Yes. Yes, and Odo's good at the sneakiness, so great ally to have. So, but Miles is not good at waiting. So while he's waiting, he's in his quarters making light what we see is a not smoke bomb, a light bomb?
Flashbang grenade.
Yeah. So, he's putting those together. I guess he goes to Quark's to hang out while he's
I
waiting,
guess.
and Quark comes up to him and asks about the rematch with Bashir.
I thought this was a nice callback from, I forget which episode that was.
It was a few episodes ago.
Oh, with the luck machine.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's like, "Are you?" Oh, because he's like, "Have you been practicing?"
Well, he opens the conversation with, "The odds are against you." O'Brien is like, "Quark, what are you doing?" O'Brien's like, What do you mean?" Oh, the rematch.
I'm like, nice. Yeah, nice little touch there. Then Quark asks about the Paradas, and
Second mistake.
Morale's like, "What do you want to know about? Why?" Quark's like,
So is Quark in on this now too, or is this literally just Quark being Quark and he wants to know what's going on?
This seems like Quark being Quark. He wants information about. This makes sense. He wants information about people that are
But
coming
it
to the
definitely
station.
plays into O'Brien's suspicions.
Exactly. Yeah, Quark just wants information about them so he can figure out how to get money from them. So he gets a call from Odo to meet him in security. My notes are a little messy here because a lot was going on. I guess what is Odo saying to him about the product? Like
Odo
he
just starts asking him. Odo's being now suddenly a bit cagey.
yes.
He's asking O'Brien questions about the rebels.
Yes.
And remember, we're interacting with the government. The rebels. He's asking about the rebels, what you know about them. And then O'Brien brings up the secret messages that have been coming from the Parada system. And O'Brien's like, could those have been coming from the rebels? So he's thinking the rebels are involved in the plot.
Yes.
Right? And Odo's like, as a matter of fact, they were. So this is like, O'Brien's like, what? That's bad, right?
Yeah.
We're working with the government.
Now
let's
tell the Federation what's going on.
We should cancel the peace talks. And Odo's like, well, that might be premature.
And that's what tips him off. Yeah.
O'Brien's like, they've got to you. They got to you.
And as soon as he says that, Cisco and Kira bust in with their guns.
Let's have a talk. Like, this is should have done this first thing before we had a chance to make a flashbang. Does a little smoke. I disappear.
So now we get the start of the cat and mouse.
Brian goes out, shoots a dude. 2 dudes. Hopefully they're okay.
Yeah. While he's in the process of this whole like cat and mouse thing, because they're like trying to put parameters around him, and he's shutting them down, that kind of stuff. He runs into Jake. He's like, "Jake, you need to help me.
It's me, O'Brien."
And Jake gives him this look, and you're like, he knows.
They got to him.
They got to him because he becomes a little snitch and tells him.
At that point, O'Brien says, "Snitches get stitches," and shoots Jake. No, wait.
That's not your fanfic, hon.
But yeah, Jake says, again, surrender to them and you'll be fine, which is everyone's favorite line.
I know, seriously. So, more running, but he makes it to the runabout that we see him on in the present. He gets away. Before he goes, Cisco's like, "You can't get away." He's like, "Bitch, I took off the systems. You can't tether me in. The hull locks are like just all this stuff that they usually do when they're trying to pull a runabout in."
You didn't say the magic word.
So while he's heading out, he gets a hold of the Admiral. He is trying to tell her what's going on, and of course she says our favorite phrase, "Just turn around. They'll explain everything." Ma'am, why don't you start explaining things?
It's clearly things have gone beyond that. I'm in a runabout. I'm gone. Either tell me what's going on or I keep going.
And then he heads to the Gamma Quadrant. So now we've caught up. No more flashbacks. We are in current time. He heads to the Parada system. And is it the Macon that's the other runabout that's after him?
So.
Yeah. So it's catching up to him. he does some little sneaky stuff where he times it to where it would catch up with him right where he's going through this system that would conceal him.
Yeah, and then uses that to change direction, shut off his power, so then they lose him. And so he's he's trying to get them to play their hand. So they, not knowing where he goes, figure, well, he was coming here for a reason. Maybe he knows. So they head to where they think he's going, which wasn't where he's going, but now he knows where they think he would have gone.
And they played right into his hand. Yeah.
Yep. So they beam down to some moon that he's not familiar with.
Yeah. So he follows them, and he catches Cisco and Kira in a meeting with the Piratas.
The rebels. They're all the Piratas, but these are the rebels.
So it is the rebels. Okay.
Yes. Dun, dun, dun. To which they say, we'll explain. You don't understand.
The info you seek is behind the door. Let us just open it up. I'm like,
just speak.
Use your words.
Use your words. Yeah. That's probably the only knock of this episode is this sort of eternally frustrating. They can't think of any other way to make this happen than to just, no, stop, wait, no, wait, stop, no, we'll explain. What's going on? Let me explain. Explain. I will explain now.
Well, sadly, they don't explain. They just shoot him.
Yeah, one of the rebels apparently had 2 guns because we already saw him drop his first gun. I don't know if that's continuity or not, but he just, boom, blasts fake O'Brien.
Yeah.
The door that will explain everything opens too late. And we see a second O'Brien.
Dun, 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 which Bashir is also behind the door looking at him. And so Bashir rushes to poor clone Miles, who is dying. And while he's dying, he also gets all the exposition. If you want to explain what happened.
Guys, you're talking about me like I'm not even here. Also, I'm dying.
I'm dying.
But yeah, basically, it was actually a government plot to assassinate someone or multiple people at the peace talks. They apparently are really skilled at making replicants. They captured O'Brien, cloned him, sent him off, and they were suspicious that he might be a clone, but they hadn't found the original yet, so they weren't sure. And it sounds like they only found the original when he had already left the station.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That sucks. And then, of course, our OG Miles, he also has to get trauma before this episode ends because he looks down at his clone.
At himself
dying, saying, Keiko. And he's like, huh? And he's, tell Keiko I look dead. And I'm like, oh, awesome. OG Miles. Get a little bit more trauma in there.
That was weird.
Wait until you hear your logs from the clone buddy. And I don't know, they try to patch up some stuff. Like Kira's like, oh, he must have been really confused about what was going on. You think?
Wonder whose fault that was. Ultimately, again,
you're glad. You better be glad he died because
it was like a subliminal like conditioning. He had no idea. So effectively, they just tortured this poor person to death.
Yes, it's really sad. Like this ending, I'm just watching this clone die, and I'm like, this is really heartbreaking. All to be witnessed by OG Miles.
I do like when he's like, the fake one's like, Keiko, and he's like, what about her? Are you talking about my wife?
Did you kiss my wife?
Oh, yeah. She didn't like it. Good.
So, yeah, that is our episode.
A classic.
Torture Miles.
One of many Torture O'Brien episodes. There's at least 2 more, maybe 3 coming up.
Yeah, because even OG Miles, like, it looked like he got knocked out because he had bruising. He had like a red mark
and stuff.
So he didn't have a fun time either. And then he watches himself die. So
good times.
Not great for him either. Yeah.
Definitely could have been handled better. Yeah, I think you just contain him right away. And just let it out.
That's what I kept thinking. Like, feels like this could have been handled better.
And they wouldn't have had an episode.
That's true.
The whole episode is just O'Brien sitting in the cell waiting for them to find this guy, and then they do.
So it's like, so I get what they're trying to do. Why? I just feel like there could have maybe been other parameters in place of why they didn't capture him right away. It's like, I wonder if there's other things that could have been in place.
Yeah.
But other things like telling Molly, but not telling Jake, what's also weird.
Definitely in universe, handled poorly. Ultimately, still makes a good episode.
It is a good episode. So I can, even though it can be frustrating at times, I do think they got there with the feeling that they were trying to convey of being in his head, being sympathetic with Miles.
Mm-hmm.
They accomplished that because even knowing that they were in the right, like this was a clone, I was still siding with them. Like, yeah, they're being weird. Yeah, I get why this clone did what he did because they were acting weird.
It almost worked against itself because they did such a good job of making you not sure which way to turn or making you believe that it was O'Brien. In order to do that, they had to make the rest of them be kind of a mix of horrible and incompetent.
And yeah, that to me is probably the big downside. Is sadly, I hate when episodes have to kind of make others incompetent, especially when they're not incompetent, for the story to happen. I wish there was a way they could have framed it, or it didn't have to be that way, but honestly, I don't know how, like, they would do that. So,
yeah.
Like you said, I can forgive it. It's frustrating, but I can forgive it.
Exactly. All right.
What is our next episode?
Paradise. O'Brien again!
Leave that boy alone!
And Cisco get trapped on a planet where there's like no technology. And there's like a Federation people crashed there ages ago.
Oh,
this one?
Yes. This is going
like
back
a
to
perfect society.
Yes.
So it's called Paradise. All right.
Again, O'Brien.
3 episodes in a row.
Leave him alone. Let him have. I need to hear an episode in the near future where they're like, "Oh, Miles isn't here. He's on vacation with Keiko and Molly." Like, they need to go have a good time somewhere. Torture somebody else.
Which one's this? Oh my God! There's the other O'Brien one is in this season. It's the second to last episode. He goes through the ringer.
Did a writer have a grudge against the actor?
I think
what is happening?
Because this happens in Voyager 2 with like Harry Kim. There are certain people who are just easy to write for torture episodes.
Because I like hanging out with Miles. I think he's a great character. But it's like, you don't need to torment him.
Because I know there's a lot of them, and I didn't realize so many of them were this one season.
Poor Miles. One day you might not be tormented.
Maybe.
Not likely.
All right.
All right, so we'll see you.
See you then.
Then.
Or Paradise.
Bye.
Bye.